want to talk about? You want to talk
Oh,
about
y'all.
food?
Oh,
Good.
snap. Oh, snap,
That's
y'all.
about
What's
how much
going
it
to happen to
costs.
our benefits? What's going
Yeah,
on? That's
I
how we
go to
going to
buy
start this.
beef, and that's about right. So
Ah,
Snap, snap, snap.
that's what we're gonna open up today with.
A few things that I wanted to bring to your attention about upcoming changes to the SNAP benefits or food stamps, also known as Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It's going to be reduced. Look at the stats of how many people it affects. You'll be surprised. It's 1 in 8. How many households it affects. How many people are using it. Just remember to check on your neighbors, check on your friends, and make sure everybody has what they need and don't just take their word for it. Watch what they do, not only what they say.
Right now, about 42 million Americans living in 22 million households receive SNAP benefits. To put that in context, that's 1 of every 8 people in the United States. The average household benefit is about $350 a month. The president's spending plan will cut SNAP funding by $187 billion over the next 10 years. And receiving food assistance will now include work requirements and require states to pick up some of the federal program's costs starting in 2028. All told, these cuts mean that millions of Americans will be at risk of losing some or all of their benefits, which could lead to increased food insecurity all around the nation.
So I
All
just
right.
wanted to go over those stats. 1 in 8 people, 22 million households, and 40 some million people. So let's say some people are on it intermittently. Let's say I have a seasonal job or I'm a construction worker or something like that, and I have off times where I don't have enough money for my family. So I go on and then I report it and go off of it. With the new program, you will only be able to do that 3 months in 3 years if you go on and off like that. So it's going to be very complicated. Also, of course, the requirements for those that are able bodied, the ages are going to be 59 to 64. They're going to force them to go back to work as well. Um, it was just a couple other things, but it's mind boggling. And then the big debate about cutting the sweetened products, whether it's sugary drinks or candy pop, whatever. And so far, I'm going to ramble off these states real quick: Arkansas, Colorado, Florida, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Louisiana, Virginia, Texas, Indiana, and Iowa. So far, have the waivers. I believe there's 2 more waiting um, to get it started. 2026 is supposed to be the go date. The thing is, each individual state has its individual restrictions. So, like Indiana's is popping candy, but some states say Iowa's is anything that's taxable.
Oh,
Arkansas has no 50% uh, or less of real, like natural sugar or less or more. They won't pay for that. And then, like some prepared items. So it's going to affect a lot of people. And at first I didn't agree with that, but now I do agree with it more. My problem is that the Trump administration is saying they're doing this because, for one thing, they want to cut down on the amount of people using it and the tax money that goes into it. But the other part of it is that they're saying that they want to lower some of the obesity rates in our youth. I get it. We have some big kids nowadays. However, they also, in the big beautiful bill, killed an act called the Healthy Hunger Kids Act of 2010, which is about giving kids fresh produce at school, making sure they ate well, you checked on them, they had breakfast. All that's been killed by this as well. So to say that he's doing this to help families in obesity and to kill that act and the same thing, along with all the other things he killed, um, to me seems a bit hypocritical as usual.
Can I just
Anyway, go ahead.
I just want to jump in.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, the kids' diets are, but it's not only that, they're not getting enough exercise. They're
Right.
watching more TV. Back in the day, and yes, we used to go out, jump rope, we used to play up and down, we do track, we do everything outside. It is an inside type of environment now in front of either a Game Boy, a tablet, or sitting down at a desk doing whatever they need.
Yes, ma'am.
That is contributing to them because we used to eat sugar back then. We used to have soda back then. We used to drink from the hose back then.
Yes.
And guess what? We got the exercise to burn it off.
Right.
So it's not balanced in what they're saying. And it's not even about that.
No, it's
It's
not.
once again about control. And I really do not like when people want to control folks.
It is about control. And if they want to control, they could try controlling the businesses that produce some of these high sugar, high fat goods.
Yep.
But they don't want to do
Right.
that
No,
because
they don't.
there are all these people that are now taking GLP-1s and they're losing weight and they're not buying as many sugary, high fat snacks. And you know what these companies are doing? They're trying to find ways to create new goods that are addictive so that you want to buy more of their product. So
Yes,
how
ma'am.
about we try and regulate these businesses instead of trying to control what people eat? And also, the president could set a good fucking example by drinking all that Diet Coke and
Thank
eating
you.
McDonald's all the time.
Thank you.
And also, too, let's make healthier food more affordable. 'Cause
Exactly.
unfortunately, the stuff that's bad for you is cheapest.
Yes, it is.
All the
So
processed foods.
And so
Yes.
this next grandmother we're going to see, this raising her 5 grandchildren, which is one of the things that are going on in this country. This, a lot of grandparents raising their kids. And I had a little quote I saw. It said, "A child's shoulders aren't meant to carry the weight of their parents' choices. Neither are grandparents." And it's going to put a greater burden on those people who are trying to care for kids that they didn't necessarily know they were going to have, and try to manage the household. But if you could play that, I think you guys will see what I'm saying.
Yes. When we get into this time in America where people have food insecurity and they're getting desperate, there's going to be some major issues, going to be some major fallout from that.
59-year-old Dionne Watts is thinking about what to make for dinner tonight. After all, she has to feed her 5 granddaughters who live with her, and that's a lot of mouths to feed.
The avocados is for the toast that the kids make in the morning time for breakfast. Then they may make an egg to go with the on top of the toast with the avocado. And the berries is for the 3-year-old.
But in her head, Dionne is counting every dollar. She receives money from SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, just $200 a month. And to make that stretch, Dionne says, is tricky. So tricky that she sometimes goes without food.
It might happen 3 times a week because I don't want to eat it up from them because I know that they're going to need it when they come home. So I will go hungry. I have went hungry so they could have enough.
But on July 4th of this year, President Donald Trump signed into law his Big Beautiful Bill, which includes a $200 billion cut to the SNAP program set to take place over the next 10 years. President Trump's administration says the cut is necessary to curb government spending and to shift the responsibility of SNAP to states. But according to Food Access LA, that proposed cut puts 5 million California families at risk.
For an example, a family of maybe 5 or 6 rely on a bag of apples 3 days. That might not last them those 3 days anymore.
Desiree Patillo is the district manager of Mother's Nutritional Center in Los Angeles, and she says cuts to SNAP would have an obvious and immediate result.
Junk food is cheaper than fruit and vegetables, sadly to say. And I'm quite sure that would be the result of if in the case that the benefits were to be reduced.
There's so many other things that you could cut. But why do you want people to starve?
Natalie Basha, Spectrum News.
I think that's terribly sad. I
Yeah,
just find it to be
it's-
absolutely crazy.
But we can build a ballroom.
Right. And I found out those it used to be 16 to 59. Now it's going to be primarily focused with the groups 18 to 54. Able-bodied to work at least, I believe 20 hours a week or 15 volunteer hours.
So my point in anybody probably over 50, 55 trying to get a job in the corporate world, especially over 60, is pretty limited, to say the least. And on top of that, they're raising the retirement age on Social Security. When are we going to start? This is my question. When are we going to start to incentivize corporations to hire people over 60 and perhaps offer a tax cut instead of just giving them a tax cut for nothing.
They're not. They
and
want you
it-
to work
They're not.
blue collar jobs. They want you to do labor jobs. They
They want
don't.
you to pick fruit.
Yeah.
At 60,
And
That's
it
what
Yeah.
says
yeah,
on
I
here they
mean,
have to have at least 80 hours per month to receive benefits beyond the 3 months in a 36-month period.
that's
Exemptions
a
for
lot.
veterans and disabled. And they're focusing on parents with teenage kids as well. Just a lot of things. And I'm not saying people shouldn't work because most of them do. The problem is when they work, the benefits are so fragile that I say America will give you a hand out, but not a hand up. Because as soon as they make a penny over it, they snatch it. So it it's very, and then the fraud that goes on is it's like 1/10 of it, which is a lot. So what's going on with the states is each state, as they start to take on a lot more responsibility, they will have to give their numbers to the federal government. And based on their the numbers of, where the numbers don't match up at that percentage, if it's over, I believe 6%, that's when they have to give like $270 million back to the federal government for reimbursement after starting 2028.
Mm.
so is this work requirement where they're going to have people go work in the fields to
Fields,
replace the
McDonald's,
immigrants?
whatever. Yes, ma'am.
Not just immigrants. They don't care who it is.
And he said that, and then after the other day when he said that they don't break their back, because if they don't break their back, they die because they don't
That's
eat.
what he said too.
I've
He
had
said
enough.
if they can't do the job, then they die. I
Kim,
don't
when
And
you
like.
it's
showed that
blatant. It's
clip,
racism. It's a war on the poor. It's
Yes.
Yeah, but they're
it's just
making us
horrible.
poor.
Kim,
They want more and more from us, and it's getting to a precipice. I went on a rant the other day at the store. I was like, "Dad, going it? Are you kidding me?" And I started yelling out and everything, and people was like, "Yeah, I know what you're saying." I'm about to start a riot at the Payless.
But aren't there statistics too that I read? People who are on these programs, they could still be working 2 jobs and not make enough money. So that goes back to the freaking companies who are not paying
Right,
a living wage.
right.
correct.
So this is,
Oh, and
the
get this,
system that
I
is
got
not
I
working.
got a bombshell for y'all, and I will tell you, I just found out not too long ago. Look it up; it is worth it. Not only because Walmart got people that they're not giving a living wage and make them get on supplemental programs, but they are trying to implement, and they're starting it soon in certain stores, body cams on their staff. I watched the whole thing about it today.
Police state, police state.
It's
The clip that you showed with Trump, I just want to highlight that clip. We know that he is definitely um, a madman and evil. However, I'm holding each and every one of those smiling faces behind him accountable. How could you stand there and smile at the rhetoric and the garbage that's coming out of his disgusting mouth? I'm looking at you and holding you accountable because it's
100%.
because of people like you. Uh, it's why we're where we are today.
It's
I can't
sad.
even get it out.
and
I
when
know.
our
So
nieces and nephews
I
call
need
them.
everybody to wake up and watch the background. The background tells
I
you
know.
everything and hold those people accountable because what comes around goes around.
And they be looking at them like they have puppy dog eyes. Like, what, master?
I
Because they're
don't
in a
know.
trance.
Well, that's what we were talking about before we went live. It's just like
Yeah.
the entire GOP in the House and the Senate took an oath, took an oath to protect our Constitution. They took an oath of office that they have been violating every single day. And it's just, you know what? When we get through this, I just hope to God we can vote every one of these people out and hold them accountable. I'm
I just
just,
like to say one thing in closing. I've been food insecure in my life, throughout my life. And I know what it's like to not to know that you don't know where your next meal is coming, or at least you know what it's going to be exactly. You know, it's going to be some fragmented, and it's scary, and it's really scary when you're a child. And I know some of these parents have went out and had too many kids and they couldn't afford, and so on and so forth. But that is not the child's burden to bear, and not feed them at school and all these different things. It's evil and it's the devil's work, in my opinion. And all I'm gonna say is that my heart is truly broken watching my
They
country do
saying that
this to its residents and its
uh,
people
it's
who
forever
keep it and sustain it. Thank y'all for listening.
because
No, it's
they're
great.
Thank you.
making
And
them have these
excellent.
children. They're making them have the children, and then when they get here, they don't want to feed them. And then what I think is going to happen, I think because they're going to have so many National Guards and other people policing us, you're going to start seeing suicides go up.
Oh
Where
yeah, definitely.
where a family, where mother, I've seen mothers kill all of her children.
Family annihilators, all that.
Well, on the brighter side of this, here's the solution. I want to give a
Yay.
solution. All right. We talk about community. So, what is going to happen is that we will need to adopt a child, adopt a kid. Make sure that child can have breakfast. So, if you have 8 eggs, you're going to have to stretch your 8 eggs and make sure that child had breakfast before they go to school. Make a bag lunch for them, whether it's peanut butter and jelly, whether it is, but we're going to have to help out. I'm just giving a solution
Yeah, I do
because
that now.
this is how it has to be. Adopt a child, please, because it. I think all of us can remember being hungry, and if you can't, don't thank the Lord that
Thank
you
you,
have
God.
not
Yep.
felt that. And when your stomach grinds and when you want to like go and just snatch out that taco from somebody's mouth,
Or you
that's
thinking about
hungry.
Absolutely.
some food you threw away last week and wish you had
Thank you. So
it.
adopt a child, adopt
Exactly.
your community. It's not only a child, it's also an elderly, it's also your neighbor. They will never tell you they need you, but go
This,
out there and ring that bell and truly just bring them a pie. You remember when we used to give our neighbors pies? If you have it, share it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Momo, I'm looking at you.
Absolutely.
You don't think so?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
I'm doing that now.
Amen.
I live in a very close to a community that is struggling right now. And I've got several families that I've
Mhm.
adopted, so to speak. I'm a chef by trade. And so it's nothing for me to whip up, casseroles and things like that. Or when I'm out grocery shopping, throwing a few extra, you know, fruits and vegetables and
Yeah.
things like that in my cart and taking them to some of the people that I've gotten to know over the past year or so. So that is very much a solution, and it's very easy for if you have it
Yes.
um, to do. It's such a good feeling.
It
It's
is.
such a good feeling to help someone and to know that you've made someone's life just that much better, just from a small, simple thing that you do.
And
And
you don't
donate
have
to your
to
food
ask
bank if
them.
nothing else.
Just take a basket over. If you have extras,
Yeah.
just take a basket over and say, "Hey, I went shopping and I was thinking about you. So here is a basket. Enjoy. It's from my heart."
Yeah.
But think about how you can stretch it. That's all I'm
Mhm.
saying.
I just want to give a shout out to Nob Hill, which is owned by Rayleigh's. We don't do this very often. And I go pick up my groceries from Nob Hill every Friday. And there's this lady, and Nob Hill is giving her food for an organization. I don't know what the organization is, but I'm always so impressed that Nob Hill is doing that. And they even have us as shoppers contribute money for
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I want to do it because what's good to know is we do have organizations that are trying
Right.
to help us. And Trump is making it harder and harder, isn't he?
he is.
We
I
have
don't
several
know
food banks
if
in
he
my town.
never will. Does he not? I mean, you're lucky, Mr. Trump, that you've got your kids and your billions of dollars. And,
So
And your gold.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Your goal.
Only-
Yeah, anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out because I'm noticing that all the time. I go there on Friday, and I'm so impressed. Boys and girls clubs give food to their kiddos, and I was very involved with boys and girls clubs. So yes, it's very important to be out there helping.
Homeless shelters.
Yeah.
And the thing is, community is some of what our taxes are for.
Yeah.
Is helping out our neighbors, helping out the community. And it boggles my mind that there are people who are upset that their taxes are going toward SNAP benefits. If you've ever been to a country where they don't have a social safety net, it is horrific. The things that
wanna
you
see it.
see, it like I will never forget some of the things I've seen in countries like this. I'm not going to name check them because I don't want to like embarrass anyone, but it's horrific. And there are some Americans who can't even imagine just the squalor and the level of poverty that can exist. And so it's okay to help our neighbors. Like if someone is going through a hard time, you would hope that if you're going through a hard time that you also can get help. That's why we pay taxes, to help each other out.
That's right.
100%, Keisha.